What's going on YouTube? Welcome to Wes's Angling. I'm at Wrightington Fisheries today. It's 5:45 in the morning. I'm just going to be doing some general course fishing for you today, and I'm going to be showing you my favourite way of fishing the method feeders, which is on bite alarms. So enjoy the fishing and hopefully we get a couple of fish for you. My dad's already set up. He's had a nice ghost carp already. So fingers crossed it's going to be a good day's fishing. So there's 3 lakes at Wrightington. This is the match lake that we're fishing today. I've chosen a peg which is directly opposite the aerator, which is running, which is always a good sign. There's 3 lakes at Wrightington. They've got a smaller lake and they've also got a canal lake as well. Absolutely lovely fishery. Always seem to catch here. Jam-packed with carp, you know, up to about 10 pounds. Okay guys, I've just got set up. A lot of you ask about the gear that I use. So I've just got my Capellan feeder chair set up. I'm using Banjo method feeders today. 10 pound mainline, which is Daiwa sensor, and 9 pound Guru hook links. These are self-tied, and I've just got those to a size 12 feeder hook and a bait band with a couple of wafters on. Rods that I'm using. So I'm using my Grace Prodigy TX specimen rods. These are 1¼ test curve, as you can see there. And I'm using my Shimano 6000 DL reels. Bite alarms are SKX Sonic. I've brought an unhooking mat with me to Wrightington today. It's gravel paths, so it's obviously better for the carp to unhook them on that. Okay, so why have I chosen this swim? For you beginners out there, if you don't know, aerators are a great attractant for fish. They love the oxygen that's going in the water and it wakens them up, get some feed in. I'm also going to cast the rig down this left hand side really close into the margin. Don't be scared about fishing tight into the margins. I brought some particles with me today. So I'm going to throw some of these down the side to get the swim started. Looks like it's going to absolutely hammer it down at some point today, so I brought my brolly with me. I'm prepared. For anybody that's following my videos, these are the pellets that I froze after my last session. So I've just defrosted them and nothing's going to waste. So I'm just going to load my method feeder up. I love these Banjo feeders, these Preston Innovation ones. They are elasticated, like I've said before. If you're using elasticated method feeders, make sure that you're using strong mainline. You don't want to fish towing around an elasticated feeder if the line was to break. So I've double loaded this method feeder. So I've squozen the pellets into the mould tight. Then I have just squoze some pellets around it loosely over the top. So they'll break down on the way down to the bottom. And when it hits the bottom, the lower section will start breaking down a bit slower. So get my bite alarm set up, make sure my rod tips are in the right place. So I'm just going to put this a little bit higher so the rod tips are closer to the water. Don't pull it all the way out. Absolute shambles. There we go. So that's in there, secured. I'm going to put it a little bit further up on the legs, so that's nice and steady. I've got my drag set fairly tight, but the fish can still take line. I do like fishing the method feeders this way. I know some of you match guys out there will probably think it's lazy fishing. I do fish the tip occasionally, but this is the best way in my opinion. Okay, so let's get this second rod out. Just loaded that the second method feeder up. I think we've got a chocolate orange on this one. I'm going to fish this one close to the aerator. Make sure your line's not tangled around the tip. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my line in position, open my bail arm, look where I want to cast. Make sure the method feeder's steady. Swing back and then gentle lob. And there we go, that's a good cast next to the aerator. Then sink my line and then put it on the rod rest, bobbing on, and we're done. Just checking the drag. You want your drag set right so that you're not getting hook pulls. If the drag's too tight, what it can do is when a fish bolts, it can pull the hook out. Just had a bit of a bleep on that left hand rod then. So that margin swim's already up and running. Like always folks, if you are picking up a couple of tips, please feel free to hit the subscribe button. You won't miss out on any further method feeder videos in the future. There's lots more to come. If you do have any questions, don't be scared to comment as well. So there we go. We've been set up 2 minutes and we're into our first fish. It's definitely a carp or a barbel because it's ripping line. These Grace Prodigy rods are nice and light and they're well balanced with these 6,000 reels. So you're getting a good bend in the rod still and it's good fun and good sport. And there we go, nice little common to start the day. Definitely has a bit more fight in him there. Alright, let's get him back and get another. So again, for the beginners, load your method feeder mould up with pellets and then squeeze it tight into it. You can see the wafters just poking out on top there, but most of it's hidden. And we're just going to flick this one back down the margin close in. Don't be scared about fishing tight into the margin. You can fish literally inches out from the side and still get a fish. This is actually a very, very good way of fishing close range method feeders because you can have your line slack and the fish is going to hook itself against the elastic on the elasticating method feeder and also the weight of the feeder. I'm using 45 gram method feeders, so they're quite heavy and that's what you need to get the hook hold. Well, I think it's brew time. There's still absolutely nobody else here. It's about 6:30 now. I love these quiet mornings fishing. I like getting here before everybody else does. I can get set up and have a couple of hours before people start turning up and it gets busy. I'm surprised the aerator rod hasn't gone off yet. I know this swim's good. I've fished Wrightington a few times before. My dad's already had a few fish. He's been getting mostly carp. We've got loads of stuff in here. Roach, bream, gudgeon, tench, barbel. A few different species of carp. So it's a great fishery and loads of choice of lakes as well. It's a set price here whether you're fishing 1 or 2 rods. Hence why I've got 2 rods out. I'm really sorry about how noisy that aerator is. Hope it's not affecting the audio too much. I can adjust some of it in editing, so hopefully it won't be that bad for you. Oh, we're in the other one, guys. That's a nice carp. Try not to knock my camera over. What would you say about this one, guys? I reckon it's about £4 or £5 at least. Nice looking common. Let's get it back. Try not to step on my rod. Also guys, when you're fishing Bitle arms and you're on a coarse fishery like this, keep your Bitle arms at the minimum volume. It's just courteous for everybody else. So that aerator rod has been out a while. I've had absolutely nothing on that side, just out the margins. I'm just going to swap the hook link for a lighter hook link. I'm going to go to a 7-pound hook link. Stick with the pink wafter though, and we'll see if it makes a difference. I'm a strong believer that it doesn't really matter too much how thick your line is. I would always err on the side of strength. I don't think carp are too fussy about it. I used to fish 6-pound mainline, and now I fish 10-pound mainline, and I haven't seen a difference in, you know, how the fishing is or anything like that. So personally I don't think it matters, but it's everybody's opinion. So again, I'm going to open up the bail arm, look where I want to cast, let some line out, and then slowly swing it back and just flick forward, and there we go, exact same spot. That's lucky. I'm not clipped up or anything here. It's just a light flick over to the island. So bobbins on. Reason I use bobbins, obviously it puts a bit of tension on the line, but not only that, but like when you're fishing the tip, you can see tiny indications on the bobbins, little lifts if you get small fish nibbling at the baits, and it can give you an idea of you know, what to use as bait. I've put smaller wafters on these now. We've gone for a 6mm wafter rather than an 8mm. So I'm just going to feed up that aerator swim, because I've got a feeling there's going to be a bit of a tow from that aerator. So I'm going to get some bait in there. So hopefully that just feeds that swim up a little bit. Is it scaleless, that, Dad? Is it scaleless? What do they call that? Leather carp? Yeah. Look at it. I don't think I've seen one of them before. Look at that. Completely. No scales on it. So the owner's just been round. I've had a quick chat with him. He seems to think that the fish have only just stopped spawning, which is strange for so late on in the year. But that explains why I've been getting mostly bream so far. We've had a couple of carp, but not as many as usual. Okay, so again for the beginners, this is how you load a method feeder. A few pellets in the mould, cover it up. Put your bait in, squeeze it in tight, pop it out. Just got a little bit of attractant here. That brolly's flying around everywhere behind me. I might need to pin it down to something. Wind's picked up. So I'm not sure what that attractant is. I think it's called haze, something like that. So this is a third cast over to the island and still nothing, so which is strange. You usually get loads of fish next to that aerator. I think I'm just going to sort this brolly out, 'cause it's doing me head in. It keeps spinning around behind me. I'll have to move my bag, I think, or something like that. Let's see where it's clipped up into. Keeps spinning. It's like a massive weather vane. Probably doesn't help that I've clipped it to the strap rather than the actual bag though. So let's pin it to the, let's strap it to the bag, and hopefully that sorts it out. Move the bag round a touch. Okay, so I've just tipped a few particles into my pellet mix, and I think we're going to try a piece of maize. So what I've got is I've got a little tool here that stretches out the bait band, and I'm just going to slip that piece of maize onto there. It's quite tricky to do this by hand because obviously the maize is quite slippy, so this just helps out. And once it's on, it's fairly tight, so it'll stick in there. It won't come out the bait band when you put it into the method feeder. In terms of a length for the method feeder hook link, probably say about 3 or 4 inches max. It doesn't need to be long. In fact, if you go too long, it tends to be that the fish won't hook itself. It can just drop the bait. It needs to be a bit of a bolt reaction. So there we go. Another perfect method feeder in the mould. I feel like they tend to cast better, these banjo feeders as well, for some reason. Not that I'm casting far. There we go. Back in the margins. Well, I've just missed the fish on that left-hand rod, but I'm definitely not rebaiting yet. I'm going to wait till this rain eases off. It's absolutely hammering it down. Proper running off the brolly. It is awesome this though, when you sat under the brolly and it's absolutely bucketing it down. Would be now, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Looks come out on the net. This is definitely going to go off soon. I think it's a bream the way it's just nibbling at it. It's not taking it fully. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, it's definitely a bream. You can always tell it's a bream by the way they bump their heads on the way in. So you get a jagged fight, and obviously they just lull in. There's not really much of a fight. Well, I think the bream have moved into the swim. It's not a bad thing, at least I'm catching. Look at it, I'm going absolutely crazy this one. Nice bream though. Little skimmer. All the pellets weren't even out the feeder. Let's get it back. At this time of year, guys, keep rebaiting, keep recasting. Leave the rig in every, I don't know, leave it in for about 15, 20 minutes at a time. Then reel it in, load the feeder back up, cast back out. Because the idea of the method feeder is you're using surprise tactics. The fish aren't thinking about the hook bait when they're feeding on the feeder. They're just taking the loose offerings off the feeder. And then they happen to take your hook bait and get hooked. I'm sorry if the audio is a little bit crappy today. And I think I've just had a look back at some of the footage, and I think the intro scene was a little bit blurred. It was struggling to focus that early in the morning, so I'm sorry about that. But got to do what I've got to do. I hope everything is watchable. So I'm going to reel this other one in and recast this one. I think I'm going to try somewhere a little bit different. My dad seems to be catching from the mid-lake, which is strange. It's either usually margins or to the island here, but I'm going to try it, and we'll see how we get on mid-lake. If he's catching mid-lake and I'm in the next swim, it's obviously where they are. You never know, it might be slightly deeper water, and with it being warm, that might be where they're feeding. So let's try it and see what happens. Got to try different things, guys. There we go, little underarm. Close the bail arm, sink the line on the vital arm. Bobbing on, and we're good to go. We've had quite a few bleeps on that right hand rod already. So I think that'll go off soon. It's definitely bream. There's definitely bream in the swim. They're not carp. A carp would just rip it off the rod rest, you know what I mean? So, here we go. I actually think it's a slightly better bream, this one, than the ones I've been getting. Nice and wide. Yeah, definitely slightly bigger. They do get bigger than this in here, I know they do. I've had them up to, £2 in here, £2-3, decent fish. So that one's on the chocolate orange. Not a bad bream. Little skimmer. Let's get it back. Well, that little change to fishing the mid-lines worked. I've got both rods on that mid-line, and I'm just having bream after bream after bream there. All nice little skimmers. If anybody has any requests or suggestions on what type of fishing you want me to do, if you want me to do a bit of float fishing, I think I'm going to try a bit of surface fishing for you. We'll go to a local lake and we'll try a bit of surface fishing for carp with bread. So stay posted for that video. If you hit the bell notification when you subscribe, you won't miss a video and you'll get notified every time I upload something. For the people that have already subscribed to the channel, thanks very much. I really appreciate it. I'm going to start doing giveaways and stuff like that. So stick around and you never know, you might be in for a chance of winning something. So Preston do 3 sizes in these banjo feeders. These are the small. They do a tiny, which I think they call micro. And they do a large feeder as well, which is like a large, wide, flat base banjo feeder. I feel like these are the perfect size year round. Sometimes I do use the bigger ones just to get a bit more feed in the water if the fish are really going for it. The good thing about these feeders is they're interchangeable. So what you can do is you just push the metal part of the feeder off the stem, and you can just slip another one on if you want to fish a bigger one, if you want to swap it to a bomb, whatever. Obviously you need to have them with you. But I tend to just stick to the banjo feeders. These small ones are my favourite. So I'm just having a bit of a recast here. I've not had anything for 5-10 minutes. So just keep that swim fed up along that midline. You'll be surprised at how quick you can actually get a bite once you've cast in. Again, I'm just double loading these, so I'm just squeezing some loosely around the top of the feeder as well, so that they'll fall off on the way down. And if there's any fish, up in the surface, they'll potentially follow the pellets down. Oh, well, this definitely doesn't seem like a bream take. No, yeah, definitely a carp, this one. So it just shows you that even if you are on a shoaler bream, be persistent and the carp will move in. So just keeping steady pressure on it. My drag's set nice and low, so if it does want to take some line, it can. Feels like a better fish. I would say this is probably going to be the best fish of the day. Oh no, it's going under my other line. Oh, it's coming up now. I think it's a mirror, this one. Yeah, it's a mirror. Caught my other line then. Get my net. Where's my net? Cheers, Dad. So. Not a bad fish, that. Oh. Dad. Dad, bring your net. Bring your net over. Bring your net over. I don't know what to do here. Oh. I need just to net my net out. But the fish is still in it. No, don't. Bomb-proof my ass. Can't believe it. Even says super strong at the top. Beast reach. It's just stripped. It's stripped the threads. Don't buy one of these, folks. Just had to use my spur landing net handle out my bag, and it is the most. It's like a poker. It's so heavy. It's like one that you get in kids sets. Well, we're back onto the bream again. It's just a day of bream today. I'm sorry if any of you watching this hoping that I was going to be catching carp for you. I've got fish on the other rod, so I need to get this unhooked fast, and I'll get onto that one. When you're in this situation, don't panic. Especially when you've got bait runners on, you can let the fish run to a certain extent. There we go. So I'm going to lift up into this one. Yeah, this is another bream as well. If it was a carp, it would have been halfway across the lake by now. It's very ragged, this one. It's like it's been in the wars. Well, I think I'm going to have one last cast and then call it a day. It's been a decent day's fishing. Like I said, the owner said that they'd just finished spawning, so they'll probably be hoovering up all the spawn and the eggs, and then they'll come back on the feed over the next week or so. But that's fishing. You've got to take the good with the bad. I'm not just in it for the carp, I'm in it for catching all species. For you guys out there that are more into specimen fishing, I'll be doing definitely more specimen fishing. I might do a session in October. I'll pick a specimen lake. I might even go back to Cudmore and go all out for the catfish. See if we can break another PB there. And for the guys that are interested in the match side of things, I'll keep posting. Probably I'll try and do weekly videos. I work 6 days a week, so it is quite difficult for me to get weekly videos out, but I'm going to do my best. I'll be consistent, and if you're enjoying it, just give us a thumbs up. It shows your support. So since I moved down this middle line, it's been a fisher chuck. Just shows you that, you know, at this time of year they're not always in the margins or near the island. It's literally dead centre of the lake. Okay guys and girls, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm going to end the video on this fish, and it does feel like another bream. So I'm sorry if you've been breamed to death in this video, but there you go. I hope you've enjoyed it. Like I said, if you haven't already, please subscribe. Feel free to drop a comment down below and pop us a like if you're enjoying it. And there'll be more where this came from. Oh, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time.